Yet. I only did it once with the help of our lovely host. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But what happened is I moved to LA from Russia 20 years ago. But about 15 years ago, I was still unsure that I know all the slang, that I understand the context and the references. And I was kind of stressing about it. So I talked to my friend Brian and I said, what do you think I should do? And he said, hey, let's go to stand-up comedy and let's go to improv. And I said, okay, let's start from stand-up because at least sets are short and maybe I'll be able to understand more. So at the very first show, I see a guy who works with me in my localization company, and I'm, wow, that's awkward. I didn't know he was a comedian. So we sit down by the stage, he can see me, and one of his first jokes, I'm so sorry for that joke, I'm going to tell you, it's not mine. He says, do you know why Russian girls speak with such terrible, terrible accent? Because their mouth always hurts, because they always have dick in their mouth, because they all prostitutes. And I'm like, what on earth? I get so angry. So I grab my friend, I'm like, what the fuck? And my friend is like, I can't believe what he just said. So I stand up in my chair and tell him, dude, we work at the same office. You're in so much trouble right now. I'm Russian. How dare you? And I'm standing in darkness so he cannot see me. So he's like, what? Who is it? And then he goes, okay, fine, Ukrainian, same difference. And I'm like, oh God, if only he tried to say that now, Ukrainian, Russia, that could have been trouble. But even back then I said, no, still wrong answer, I'm 25% Ukrainian. So people in the audience start laughing. And I say, you don't say same difference. Shame on you. You work for a language company. What's wrong with you? So I give him the speech and he's like, oh shit. And then I just grab my friend and we go next door and have drinks. And since I was in darkness, the guy never knew who I was. But later a woman from the other room came to the bar and she said, was this planned? That was actually hilarious how you heckled him. I love every minute of it. The rest of his set, he was just not himself anymore. He was just kind of sad and scared. So I was like, yeah, at least, I achieved something. So for the next time, Brian says, Katya, I don't think we should go to comedy anymore because I feel like you just take everything too personally, which you shouldn't be doing. And I said, well, excuse me, not all Russian girls are prostitutes. I'm personally offended. And he said, okay, let's give it another chance. So we go to another club, and I kid you not, one of the first comedians tells another terrible joke, which I feel like even ashamed to tell you, but he says, any of you guys date Eastern European girls of Match.com? And the guys in the room like, yeah, a little bit. And he's like, well, guess what? They should actually create a different site for them and call it Mooch.com, because they all are moochers and they never pay for anything, this Eastern European women. And I look at my friend Brian and he already grabs onto my arm. Shh, Katya, don't say anything, don't take it personally, it's cool. And I just say real loud to him, why only Eastern European? It's like many women do that, what's wrong with him? And the comedian, in fact, he didn't know what he was like, what kind of trouble he was getting himself into. I wasn't even saying it directly to him, but he said, what is this cute little accent I hear in the audience? Are you Eastern European? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, let me guess what country you're from. So he comes up to me, he looks me in the eyes and says, you are Swedish. And I'm like, what? Sweden is not even in Eastern Europe. So people in the audience smile a little bit. And he's like, oh, sorry, I meant Switzerland. I always confuse Sweden and Switzerland. And people in the room laugh even more. And and I'm like, Sweden is also not in Eastern Europe. And at this point, he starts thinking probably, oh God, I shouldn't have got into all this geography game. And he goes, fine. You look German, I think you're from Eastern Germany. And before I open my mouth, he goes, I read Wikipedia. It said that actually before the 90s, parts of the Germany were in Eastern Europe. I'm like, nope. There was Eastern Germany, Western Germany, but neither of those was in Eastern Europe. At this point, everybody in the audience just starts dying and God, what's happening? So he comes up to me real close and he has to say, I guess, something really humiliating to me. So he's like, I think you're a mail order bride. and I think you're from Russia. Am I correct? I'm like, what? Nobody said anything like this to me ever before. And I feel like I have to fight back. So I look him straight in the eyes and I say, you sound very experienced in this kind of thing. Did you have a mail order bride? Were you like, did you like date a lot of moochers? So you probably have no money anymore. So you have to do stand-up to stay interesting for women. He goes quiet. And the man to my left goes, burn. And then I just stand up and leave, who is my friend, and the comedian goes back on stage, but I'm pretty sure the rest of his set wasn't very successful. So my friend tells me, Katya, I have to tell you, we are not going to stand up together anymore. I can't take you anywhere. You're just a disgrace. Why do you have to take everything so personally? And I say, look, I have to protect my ladies from my country or from my part of the world. In fact, I honestly didn't feel like going to any more stand-up for years after that. Maybe because of this situation, or maybe I was just thinking, why? Do they always act off stereotypes? It's not funny. But about 5 years ago, I got into storytelling, and I met a lot of nice comedians whose jokes are actually not stereotypical at all. They're more like fun and hilarious. And last year, I even started, I even tried to do stand-up myself, and I'm hoping to continue on that. And let me tell you, I'm not gonna do stereotypes. Thank you.
Katya Duff, yeah. Wow. Wow, Katya, that was wonderful. Thank you.